The day the world changed, 1453 in Rome's last breath. For 1,000 years they stood. The most terrifying armies history had ever seen broke against these stones like waves crashing against the shore. Attila, the scourge of God, looked upon them and turned back. Muslim Arabs, Persians, Rus Vikings and Bulgarians. They all tried. And they all failed. It was the most magnificent, formidable line of defense humanity had ever known. The Theodosian Walls. These walls were not merely brick and mortar. They were the symbol of Roman invincibility. But in the spring of 1453, history was poised to write a different story. Because this time, the threat rising on the horizon was unlike anything that had come before. This new power from the east brought with it not just swords and arrows, but a harbinger of the apocalypse that would change the rules of warfare forever: gunpowder. Behind those walls, however, only a city-state remained of the colossal Roman Empire that once ruled the world. By the 15th century, Constantinople was merely a ghost of its former glory and magnificent days. The people were impoverished. Plague and endless wars had whittled the population down to fewer than 50,000. The golden domes of the Hagia Sophia were stripping away from neglect, and the marble palaces of old were rotting amidst overgrown weeds. And at the head of this ruin stood a tragic figure: Emperor Constantine XI. He was the honorable captain of a sinking ship. His treasury was empty. He could not even be properly crowned because the church was divided. His Christian brethren in the West would not lift a finger to help, paralyzed by centuries of hatred between the Catholic and Orthodox faiths. Constantinople was a lonely island standing amidst a rapidly rising Ottoman sea. And the storm was approaching. On the other side of the walls, a completely different energy reigned, vibrant and soaring. Upon the Ottoman throne sat a young man of only 21 years, Mehmed II. The courts of Europe laughed at him. They saw him as an inexperienced child, a figure who would remain in his father's shadow and fade away. But they were about to learn just how wrong they were in the most painful way possible. Mehmed was not like ordinary medieval rulers. He was an intellectual with the spirit of the Renaissance. He spoke Greek, Persian, Arabic, and Latin. By his bedside, he kept books recounting the lives of Alexander the Great and Julius Caesar. His dream was not merely to gain territory. His dream was the red apple. In his eyes, there could be only one legitimate heir to Rome, the one who possessed Constantinople. Even his own Grand Vizier Halil Pasha opposed this siege. "This city is cursed," they whispered. "Many sultans have tried before and failed." But Mehmed's answer was clear: "Either I shall take this city or the city shall take me." However, Mehmed knew that he could not breach those legendary walls with faith or troop numbers alone. To bring down those walls he needed science. And at this point, one of history's most interesting mercenaries entered the stage: the Hungarian engineer Orban. In a twist of fate, Orban had gone to the Byzantine emperor first. "I can build a weapon that can destroy the walls," he said. But the emperor had neither the money nor the materials to give him. Orban was rejected, and so he turned his route to Edirne, to the young sultan. Mehmed welcomed Orban with open arms. He gave him everything he asked for: copper, tin and workers. In the foundries of Edirne, months of secret work began. And what emerged was the most terrifying weapon the world had ever seen: the basilica cannons. Monsters capable of hurling 600-kilogram stone balls, 8 meters in length. When these cannons set out from Edirne, the peasants who heard the ground shaking thought the heavens were thundering violently. When the siege began on April 6, 1453, the people of Constantinople awoke to a sound they had never heard before. The noise when the basilica cannons fired was so loud that it is said pregnant women miscarried out of fear, and the ears of soldiers were deafened. The romantic age of chivalry ended that morning. The age of technology and fire had begun. But the Byzantines would not give up easily. At Emperor Constantine's side was the Genoese mercenary commander Giovanni Giustiniani. Giustiniani was a genius of wall defense. During the day they would fill the holes blasted by the cannons with stones, earth, mattresses, tapestries, whatever the people could find. As the Ottoman army struck, Byzantium repaired. It had become a battle of wills. Mehmed was not getting the result he wanted from the land. For the city to fall, it had to be besieged from the sea as well. But the entrance to the Golden Horn was blocked by a massive chain. Supported by floating logs, this iron chain prevented the Ottoman navy from attacking the city at its weakest point, the sea walls. Ottoman captains tried to break the chain, but the Byzantine and Italian ships were taller and better equipped. Failure at sea began to destroy morale in the Ottoman army. Soldiers whispered, "Let us give up, my Sultan, this city cannot be taken." That was the moment Mehmed revealed his military genius. If the ships could not pass the chain by sea, then they would pass by land. It was a plan bordering on madness. The forest area on the hills of Galata was cleared. Hundreds of trees were cut down, greased with olive oil, and massive slipways were prepared. On the night of April 21st, one of the most surreal events in world history began to unfold. The 70-piece Ottoman navy was hauled over the hills and down into the Golden Horn by the sheer strength of thousands of soldiers and oxen. The Byzantines heard noises that night, but they could not understand what was happening. When morning came, the people of Byzantium went up to the walls and could not believe their eyes. In the waters of the Golden Horn, which had been empty the night before, Ottoman ships were now sailing. This was a psychological devastation. The back door of the city was now broken. The Byzantines now had to divide their forces. They had to defend both the land walls and the sea walls. The noose was tightening. Weeks passed. The city struggled with hunger and exhaustion. But they did not want to surrender. Sultan Mehmed sent a final offer to Emperor Constantine. "Surrender the city, and I will give you the governorship of the Morea and spare your people. Go and save your life." Constantine's reply was honorable enough to go down in history. "To surrender the city to you is beyond my authority or that of anyone else who lives in it, for all of us, after taking the mutual decision, shall die of our own free will without any regard for our lives." Words were finished. The swords would speak. But strange events began to occur in the city one after another. On May 22nd, a lunar eclipse occurred. The blood moon was an ancient prophecy for the Byzantines that the city would fall. Then, during a procession carrying the icon of the Virgin Mary, believed to protect the city, the icon slipped and fell to the ground, and a sudden violent storm dispersed the ceremony. Whispers spread rapidly that God had abandoned the city. On the night of May 28th, thousands of torches were lit in the Ottoman camp, and the chants of prayers shook the earth and sky. This was the herald of the final assault. Inside, in the Hagia Sophia, there was a sorrowful ceremony. Orthodox and Catholics, everyone who had been enemies, reconciled and prayed shoulder to shoulder for the last time. Emperor Constantine said goodbye to his soldiers one by one. Everyone knew this was the last night. Tuesday morning, May 29, 1453. Just before the sun rose, Mehmed gave the order to attack. The first wave was the irregulars, the second wave the Anatolian soldiers. With superhuman effort and patience, the Byzantines repelled the attacks. Justiniani and Constantine fought shoulder to shoulder. But then Mehmed played his final card, the Janissaries. The Sultan's elite guards marched upon the exhausted defenders as a disciplined and fresh force. Just then, a small detail occurred that changed the flow of history. A small postern gate in the walls called the Kirkoporta had been left open, either by treachery or forgetfulness. Ottoman soldiers noticed this breach. At the same moment, the backbone of the defense, the Genoese commander Justiniani, was severely wounded. Seeing him removed from the battlefield broke the courage of the Byzantine soldiers. The line of defense dissolved. Ottoman flags raised upon the walls screamed that the end had come. Emperor Constantine removed his imperial symbols, his purple cloak. Shouting, "The city is fallen and I am still alive," he drew his sword like a common soldier and dove into the midst of the Ottoman troops. His body was never definitively identified. The last Roman emperor vanished into history along with his empire. In the afternoon, Sultan Mehmed entered the city. When he arrived in front of the Hagia Sophia on his horse, he took a handful of dust from the ground and sprinkled it on his turban, a gesture of humility to remind himself that he was nothing before God. He entered the church, marveled at its magnificence and beauty, and ordered it to be converted into a mosque. From that moment on, he was not just a sultan but the conqueror. The conquest of Istanbul was not seen merely as a city changing hands. This event ended the Middle Ages. Byzantine scholars and artists fleeing the city took refuge in Italy with the ancient Greek manuscripts they carried, stoking the fires of the Renaissance there. The Silk Road falling into Turkish hands pushed European explorers to seek new routes, paving the way for the discovery of the Americas. On that day, May 29, 1453, one world sank and a new one was born. And the sound of cannons echoing before those walls were the birth pangs of the modern world.